Good evening, everybody. This is Anjanette Potter, also known as Adam's Rib, and you are listening to the Adam's Rib TV weekly midweek update. So I got done with the Lenny Kravitz review and everything. I'm still trying to get it up on YouTube so that you guys can hear it there. My next book review that I will be doing will be Mariah Carey's. Um, the meaning of Mariah Carey. So here it is right here. And I will be doing that. Hopefully, I'll be done with it in a couple of weeks and I'll be able to do that. So, as I said last week, I am now only on Facebook. I am posting to my Facebook page and to the Adams Rib Media Ministry page. I am no longer, I shut down the Anjanette Speak page because I want to consolidate and no other reason. Um, this month, I know I've seen a lot of people doing Pride. F- For the purposes of this station, we are celebrating Black Music Month. We are also celebrating Prince Month, since this month is his month of birth. Um, Also, I'm going to be doing different music. The way that I decided to do things, I'm going to be posting on. It'll probably be mostly on the Eclectic Music podcast, which I will be sharing to my Perfect Pitch um, blog. I still have a couple of postings that I need to get up there. Um, I will be the first. I'm first going to go into Black Music Month and the history behind it. So the first posting will be Black Music Month. I will also, in the first musical movement, what I'm going to do is do musical movements, and then I'm going to highlight about three or four people that are major figureheads in those movements. So, in honor of Prince, we just celebrated Prince's birthday. The 7th, I believe it was. Yeah, the 7th. So, in honor of his birthday, and like I said, this is Prince Month, as well as Black Music Month, I'm going to spearhead the month. And I've done this before with with the eclectic weekends when I was doing it, where I talked about the Minneapolis sound. So what I will be doing is I will be spearheading the month talking about the Minneapolis sound, and I will be talking about, and I'm going to do about three or four major players in the Minneapolis sound and feature music on them in the podcast. So that's going to be the first music movement that I talk about, historical music movement that I talk about. I also may be doing Motown. I also may be doing, well, you know what? Um, I'm going to be doing the Minneapolis Sound. After that, I will be covering the New Jack movement. Um, and and then the rest will be to be announced. So I was looking at YouTube and I saw where, I guess Monique in um, the whole cap thing has been getting a lot of traction. And I will say again, I'm against statements that make blanket statements against the whole of Black women, because you can say something and you can say it's all love. And first of all, and she said herself on this last one where she talked with Tammy Roman on Fox Soul, and I'm like, by your own admission, it is hard to keep people from judging Black women at a different standard, even when you're dressed up. So doesn't that kind of tell you a little something when you're coming for the rest of us? Like I said before, the majority of people dress for where they're on their way to. And so, as a Black woman, if you see somebody and they're dressed down, especially if they're at the airport, then their cute clothes are in the suitcase. and they're just trying to keep their hair together so that when they get to where they're going, they can look funky fresh. Um, I feel about her statements the same way I feel about Iyanla and the whole black woman being out of order. I also feel the same way about when when I disagreed with Fantasia on the whole, you don't have a man because you're not submissive. The problem I have is when you apply it to black women as a whole and make it look like number one, it's all of us, when really it's not all of us. And the problem with black women being judged has to do with racism and, not how we're dressed. There used to be a joke that if you see a black man in a suit, you call him the defendant. Now, 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 as you can see, I'm not laughing at the joke because it's not a funny joke. Okay, it's basically a way of saying that no matter how well you're dressed, you're still going to be who you are. And, it's a way of trying to not let you off the hook for being black. Now, there's nothing wrong with being black. The only bad thing about being black is racism. If we did not have to worry about being judged because of the color of our skin, then we would not have to worry about double standards when it comes to how we're dressed and how we present ourselves. Now, I remember a couple of years back, and I was talking to all women when I said it. I was delivering DoorDash to generate income, and I said, you're out here, you're with the public, you want to present your best face. You don't have to be dressed up because you're in your car all day, you're getting in and out of your car, going to restaurants, picking up food, and then, probably possibly climbing flights of stairs to get people their food and everything. So you want to look cute but comfortable. And that extends to, traveling. I was telling someone, I said, shoot, I was always taught, or at least I taught myself, to have a, a, a outfit to travel therein that's cute but still yet comfortable. That if I got to get in and out, especially if I'm in my car, if I have to get in and out and go to gas stations and make stops on the way there, I don't want to be, really, really dressed. Plus, if you have places to go, like I'd say last summer I didn't get to because of the pandemic, but the summer before that, y'all know I was doing a whole lot of concerts and I was going to a whole lot of concerts. I was doing my live events and I was doing lives and going Facebook Live, which, once concert season starts to be up again and I start having the money I will start doing that again. And now that I have the Melon platform, which can simulcast at different venues, I now can do it and 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 Facebook Live and let it go to Facebook, but also to YouTube, so I don't have to go through all of that stuff of having it stored on my phone. It now goes right to my places, and I'm also on Twitch. So I will be. So if you're on Twitch and you want to follow me, I'm AdamsRib 66 on Twitch. If you want to follow, if you're a Twitch follower and you want to, follow me on Twitch. So my lives are going to be an extension of the Eclectic um, Geek podcast. And also, so basically, anything music is going to be an extension of my Perfect Pitch music blog. So, all of that will be, you'll find it on YouTube, you'll find me on Twitch, you'll find me on Facebook, on both my personal page and on the Adams Rib Media Ministry page. So when I start going to concerts again, I'll be doing that. I'll be doing my lives that way, so that way you can catch me on more than one platform. And I will be doing my level best to post those on Perfect Pitch. So anything music is going to be Perfect Pitch. Anything books, you already know, is on Bookworm. I still have Out and About, which I will be, back up and running again because I've got movie reviews to do. I've seen a couple of movies. I saw Chris Rock's new movie, the new Saw, the latest installment in the Saw enterprise, the movie Spiral. It was pretty decent. There was stuff, there was a few things here or there, but it was still a pretty good movie. Um, I also got to see Cruella, which I'm gonna review and everything. It was pretty good. It was pretty good too. The latest Cruella is I think one of the latest attempts to go into what they've been doing lately with a lot of cartoon villains. They did it with Joker, as they're offering backstories on the villain to kind of see how the person got to be where they are. And they're doing that with Cruella. Now, the one thing I kind of liked about what they did with Cruella is like they took a page from the book of if you ever want two films I would suggest you see that you probably would maybe agree. They're both British, part of the British invasion as far as film. One is Clockwork Orange by Stanley Kubrick, which stars Malcolm McDowell when he was very young, um, and it's a classic film. Um, Very gory, but psychological thriller. If you're into psychological thrillers, and I am, so it's really good. But it also put me in mind of the Who's film Tommy because of the way that they presented it to us and everything. So it was pretty good. They did a pretty good job with it. This past weekend, I went to see. There's a lot of movies out now that seem to be part of prior franchise, like the latest installment in different franchises. So so this past weekend I saw me and my mother were going back and forth. Me and the Queen Mother were going back and forth between which one we wanted to see, and we wound up seeing oh, part two of A Quiet Place. And I before I went, I was on YouTube because now you can rent movies on YouTube. They have free movies with ads, but then they also have some of the latest movies out. That, as a matter of fact, they got Spiral already. I was like, already? But they did. They got Spiral already. So if you want to see it, and that's the Chris Rock installment of the Saw series and everything. And I will say this with Chris, don't stop doing horror. Do more horror. I want to see. I'm gonna be honest with you. One thing that kind of stings me with horror is the lack of black people in horror. I want to see more black people in horror, and in horror movies and scary movies. I would like to see more black people doing scary films, doing horror films, because there's a lack of it. I forget which comedian it was, but they had a joke, and it was kind of a running joke in slasher films where they talked about if there is a brother in a film, they usually are the first one killed, or they don't have a very big part, or they are dead before the opening credits. And so on one of the Screams out of the Scream franchise, they kind of made a joke out of that, and they killed off Jada Pinkett Smith and Omar Epps. I'm like, y'all not even funny with that. I'm like, I chuckled a little bit, but I was like, they did that as a joke. But the what they call the rampant. I would say insidious racism or whatever, but I would like to see more of us doing. I'm a scary movie nut. I really truly am, and I really it blessed me when when the Wayans brothers started doing the scary movie franchise because it was a way of combining comedy and horror and making it, and making fun of the the different franchise, the Scream movies, the slasher flicks, and making fun of the rules attached with them because whether the people meant to or not, they started to make like the virgin rule. If you the one person who ain't having sex will be the one who survives this film, or if you have sex, you're gonna be one of the ones that get killed. So different rules that go along with it. If somebody says they're gonna come back, they ain't coming back. They about to die. So and they took the whole scary movie. They took the whole horror genre and decided to combine comedy with it and make fun of it, which I thought was really funny. So I would like to see more of us like Chris. Chris. We know that Chris can act his behind off, so we're not really. So that's not any of the issue there. But I would like to see more of us. Like I would even like to see more of us directing horror movies because what Jordan Peele has done with Get Out, and with Us. And I look forward to. I think he's working with someone. I don't think he's the one directing it, but what they're going to do with the new Candyman, the a reboot. I'm really looking forward to see what they do with that. And I'll be honest with you, like I feel like if anybody is having difficulty with that, why not pick each other's brains, like collaborate, that work together. I know it's about conflicting personalities, but I would like to see more of us in the science fiction realm. Um, there is a very famous author that does really good science fiction, black science fiction. Her name's Octavia Butler. And I would, like those of us who are like um, horror movie nerds like myself or geeks like myself, I look forward to seeing more of us doing it and everything. I'm like, shoot, reboot, Scream Blackula, the Blackula movies or whatever, or even make up some new characters or whatever. I'm right now considering a I want to say gothic novel, but a but possibly possibly a suspense novel my own self out of the scary with a Christian edge to it and everything based on some things that I've seen going on in churches and everything. I'm like, it's inspiration to it. When I see some of the things that go on, it inspires me to want to write about some of it and do a work of fiction. I don't want to do no nonfiction because with fiction, I love fiction because I don't have to cite sources. I don't have to be looking up stuff. I don't have to be looking up. I don't have to be, cite doing direct and indirect quotes. I get to just go ahead and flow. So I love it. I love writing short stories and works of fiction because I don't have to think too hard. I don't have to look nothing up. I don't have to cite no sources. I don't have to say exactly where I got it from or none of that other stuff. I can just go and be inspired and write. And it comes out, depending on what it is. Now, some stuff you still have to cite, but for the most part, when you do fiction, you just get to get in there and write to your heart's content and just keep it as long as the Holy Ghost is flowing. You get to go ahead and keep going. And when the Holy Ghost is done, you get to lay down your pen or lay down your typewriter and be done. So that's a few things that I want to be doing in the month of June. I'm hoping to. I don't think I will tonight, but hopefully tomorrow morning I can get started on the podcast that I'm trying to do for 30 days of Black music. Um, Tonight's Bible study. I don't have a Bible study per se, every time I get on here, when I do updates, I won't just be doing Bible study. Some will be Bible format, and some will just be things that are up for discussion. Different things that I see, different things of error, different things that kind of prick the heart and make me go, I think I want to talk about that because I'm wondering if anybody else has seen or noticed it. So, like I said before, this is mainly for update purposes to let you know what's going on with the other blogs and with the other channels, or really the other blogs, and what I plan on doing, what the month or what the theme is going to be, or different stuff like that for the ministry. But also, I will be doing Bible study on here as well. And all of them are not going to be the traditional Bible study, format. Many times it may just be a topic that really is on my heart and feel like I need to discuss. Um, I had an exchange earlier on Instagram where someone hopped because you have these groups with these Black father groups or whatever, and so this guy was like, "Well, they need to hear a woman talking, just like they need to see a man treating their mother right. They also need a woman talking to um, their father right." So I said, "Okay, well, why don't you lead the way?" Because one thing I'm a little tired of is listening to men, period. But since I'm black, guess what group of people I'm more concerned with? Black people. So one of the things I'm a little tired of is black men calling black women emasculating and all this other stuff. But then when we need you to lead the way by going first on something, acting like, well, okay, we want to lead, but first y'all go first and do this. And like, well, y'all go first and then we'll do what you do your end and then we'll do our end. And I'm like, okay, but if you're supposed to be the leader, why can't you go first? Okay, because I told someone, I said, when I marry, I want me and my husband to pray together 3 times a day. And there are some people, and I've seen this with some men, and I've seen it with all ethnicities, where a woman suggests something and they act like you're out of your place for saying anything. But then when we don't say anything, it never occurs to you to have that same thought. And I don't think less of any man that I talk to if I have to bring up something. But don't act like as a woman we're being castrating or castigating because we suggest something that you never thought of. Okay, we're in it together. I always, because of that, because of what was modeled to me in my youth as a girl, as a young lady growing up with my mother and her brothers, and even on my dad's side with many of the married couples that I saw, was people who worked together and recognized that they were in that marriage together. There's no big I and little you. Neither one is more important than the other one, um, or any of that stuff. You're working together, even when you're talking about the man going and making the money and providing, and the woman keeping the household together. If she's there at home all day, that's still working together. That's still a form of partnership. You're just agreeing. It's just a matter of how you want your household run and everything. But like I said, don't put us out here and well, you need to do it first and then we'll do our end. No, you're supposed to be the leader, right? And so that's what I said. I'm like, well, since you're supposed to be the leader, why don't you do it first? Why don't you carry yourselves as a man, and demonstrate how your wife is supposed to be treated, and then make it so that she doesn't have to talk to you like you're a kid. You know why? Why do we always have to do things first, and then you come along with us? Well, that's not leading. Then that's us leading. And so this guy showed up in my and commented on my comment. It was, "Oh, you're one of those women." And I said, "What is those women?" This isn't those women. When we step up and do what we know to do is right, then you're ready to call us castrating because you weren't the one to do it first. So I'm saying, since this is on your heart, since you posted this, then why not lead by example? Why not lead by example? Why not you be the person to lead this? hmm Like I said, silence. Why not you be the person to lead, since if you already know the correct way to go, then why not be the person to lead? Why do we always have to do it first, and then you have to, like, no? Like I, recently told, have said, I want a man that when we get together, I'm already saving sex for marriage. So I want a man. I don't want you using no other woman for sex. I want us to wait together. Now, depending on just how saved you are, um, well, blah 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 blah. Well, if you're coming to me, I've already almost led the way because I'm already doing it. You'd be so shocked at the number. Well, may not be if you're grown like me and you're not naive at all. You know that every brother that's sitting up in church ain't saved. Once again, an area where women got to lead. How come you can't lead that? Oh, because you're not doing it. And I can tell you by the behavior I've gotten from some of your pastors and some of the men in your church that they not leading, and they not leading along those lines. But if you as a woman say to them, "This is my requirement," I don't want neither one of us stepping out with nobody else. Then all of a sudden, you're castrating or emasculating. Never mind, they should have been like that when you got them anyway. So it's something to think about, and the topic is not making men wait. The topic is male leadership, okay? And your response to suggestions that your wife makes to you as a man. How do you take your wife suggesting something that she feels like is going to make the marriage better? Do you feel like she's being too forward? Do you feel like she's being castrating or emasculating? What do you think about that? So anyway, I'm gonna get off here. I'm not gonna make this one very long, even though most of them have been almost an hour. This is a half an hour. I'm gonna go ahead and get off of here, but you will be seeing postings. You will be seeing um, more from me than you have been. I've had a lot of stuff going on in my own life here lately, so I'm trying to get back on track to posting on a regular basis, and delivering on my promises and being a woman of my word. So I will talk to you guys over the internet. I'm not sure what my plans are. I might be on grandma duty, but I will still be in touch with you guys over the internet. So I will see you over any platforms that I'm connected to you on. You guys have a good one. Guys have a blessed one. Enjoy the rest of your week. And I will talk to you later. Bye bye.